Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate at St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. Today's question is, do you know why the Lectionary Year A Gospel readings are always used on the Scrutiny Sundays of Lent? And it's important to realize that every Lent, the third, fourth, and fifth Sunday are called Scrutiny Sundays. These are Sundays in which the unbaptized, previously called the catechumens, now during the season of Lent after the rite of election, now referred to as the elect, are asked on these Sundays to really scrutinize or examine their lives to kind of come to an awareness of any obstacles that might be in their lives that would prevent them from fully committing themselves to Jesus in and through the baptismal commitment at the Easter Vigil. There they will be fully initiated, and these 3 Sundays are used as a way of examining their lives to make sure that they remove all obstacles from fully committing themselves to Jesus. So they are brought before the community, and the community prays to God that God will lift from their lives all these obstacles and make them ready to fully commit themselves in their baptismal commitment at the Easter Vigil. The Gospels used for these particular Sundays are extremely important, focusing on key baptismal symbols and key baptismal themes. They all come from the Gospel of John, and they're so important, and they're all so focused on baptism that it is recommended, highly recommended, that whenever there are catechumens or now the elect in any community, that these Gospels should be used no matter what the lectionary year is. So the Gospels, as I said, all come from the Gospel of John, and I'd like to just unpack just briefly what they are and how the focus on the baptismal themes really comes across in a powerful way. The Gospel for the third Sunday of Lent, the first Scrutiny Sunday, is from the Gospel of John, chapter 4. This is the famous story of Jesus' encounter with the Samaritan woman at the well. And in the process of that encounter, Jesus proclaims himself as the living water that nourishes all who are willing to listen and believe in him. It's living water that refreshes and nourishes us and gives us the kind of life that God would want us to have. And Jesus is the key focus of that. So the key baptismal symbol here is associated, first of all, with water, but most importantly, with delving into Jesus as the source of our life, our living water that continues to nourish us, because without water we would die. So Jesus as the living water is a key baptismal symbol and theme. The fourth Sunday of Lent, a second Scrutiny Sunday, the Gospel, again from John, is from John chapter 9. And this is the story, the famous story, a very long story, of the curing of the blind man, of the man born blind in the Gospel of John. And again, this encounter between Jesus and the blind man, who ultimately receives his sight through Jesus' intervention, is one in which we learn Jesus to be the one who gives us new sight, new way of looking at the world, a new way of engaging the world with new sights and new depth of knowledge and understanding. So Jesus becomes the one who provides that new sight, new way of seeing, new way of looking. Again, key to baptismal theme and focus, because in baptism we are committed ourselves to Christ, and we are given that new sight that only Christ can give us. And finally, on the fifth Sunday of Lent, which is also the third Scrutiny Sunday, the Gospel focuses primarily on John chapter 11, the story of the raising of Lazarus. Lazarus, a good friend of Jesus who had died, is now buried. Jesus shows up and has very great sorrow that his good friend died, and eventually raises him to life. And so again, the key baptismal theme is that Jesus is the source of our life, the source of new life, as a matter of fact. Jesus has overcome death, and is now the source of all new life. And connected to Jesus, we are new creations, new people with experiencing the new life that only Jesus can give. So all three, John chapter 4, chapter 9, and chapter 11, the Samaritan woman at the well, the curing of the man born blind, and the raising of Lazarus, are all significant gospels that stress what the baptismal commitment is all about. Jesus as the living water, Jesus as the one who gives us new sight, Jesus as the one who gives us new life. And I hope that by now you would understand why these Gospels are so important and why they're used consistently on all Scrutiny Sundays whenever the elect are present. So I hope this has helped you understand how the Gospels during those Scrutiny Sundays from the Gospel of John are so important, and I hope you will return again once more to delve deeply into more of what it means to be a Christian and to follow Jesus. Thank you.